Thank you, Governor. Secretary Flute mentioned that Chairman Frazier had some calls and said that the checkpoints on the Cheyenne River were running smooth and there were zero complaints, but the state had heard otherwise. What has been heard from the Oglala Sioux tribe in relation to that, and have there been any concerns from both tribal or non-tribal members?
You mean as far as people running into issues with checkpoints down on Oglala?
Yes.
Do you have anything to share?
Yeah, hi, Secretary Flute, Tribal Relations. Thank you for the question. You know, when we started taking phone calls, some of the first logged phone calls were coming respectfully from their tribal members, and I'm talking of Oglala Sioux. There was an instance where a tribal farmer was ranching, getting ready for calving season.
PPE as well.
And that is why we gave them, and that's where the issue happens. That is where with our tribes and what is going on in regards to the checkpoints. So with that, I'll turn it over to Secretary Flute.
I want to say thank you, Governor. I want to say good afternoon to all of you here today. I'd like to speak my language a little bit. Oya mitakio api, oya tokahea itokab na waji dead. Iuha chante washte na pechius api. Odeam petug de itokab na waji. Wo tuachi washte yuhat na ha. Da kodwo pe yuhama wanikta. Uka ampetug de ta ku iwohenda kapikta. He tokata kia oyate iwashtepte te tan yachupikta. For those of you that don't know me, I'd like to share a brief introduction of myself to the state of South Dakota. My name is David Flute. I am a member of the Siston-Wahpeton Sioux tribe, former tribal council member of my tribe, and a former tribal chairman. I served on a number of regional boards for our tribe, and I did serve on the HHS Secretary's Tribal Advisory Board for a period there. I was a member of the South Dakota Army National Guard. I did serve a tour with the 235th Military Police Company in Afghanistan, and that brought me a lot of experience, gave me some time to reflect on service to my country and to get into tribal public service, and that's why I got into tribal government. I want to share a little bit about the work we've been doing with our tribes in COVID-19. The one most important is communication, and very thankful for Secretary Malcolm Rydzen and her team in working with the Department of Tribal Relations and having us to facilitate these calls, the tribal weekly calls, where she's able to provide information to the tribes and offering the tribes an opportunity to ask questions of the Department of Health. We've been in contact with Region 8, with FEMA, Region 8. We were coordinating some important communications with them. An example is the tribes. A few of our tribes were slaughtering their buffalo to increase their food surplus. They were slaughtering their livestock, wanting to prepare for any shortages in food. And the question had never been asked of if this is a reimbursable expense, and my agency and my team had reached out and had asked that question to Region 8, and they were able to get us an answer, and it was a good answer. The tribes are able to use that as a reimbursable cost. So those are just a couple of things among disseminating a lot of information to our tribes that come from Indian Health Service, BIA Regional. We've been sharing a lot of information on the COVID, any updates. But, you know, among other things, this past year and last 18 months, we've worked on other issues where the key to accomplishing those issues was communication. And I felt it was necessary, and I'm very thankful for the governor inviting me here today to share information that I think is important and it's fair to share with the state of South Dakota as South Dakota citizens, not just as tribal members that are listening, but all of South Dakota, that on behalf of the governor, when these checkpoints were being established by our tribes, a few of our tribes, we were alerted to it. and we shared that with the governor, and we shared it with senior leadership, and we had it on our radar, and we were monitoring how those checkpoints were being operated. Unfortunately, Chairman Frazier and I had a couple of calls, and the chairman's a good friend of mine. He was sharing with me that the checkpoints were running smooth and that there were no complaints. And I would share with the chairman that we were hearing different, and that there were some concerns and some complaints from both his tribal members and from non-tribal members. And so we felt it was necessary to share that information. And on behalf of the governor, I was asked to reach out to Chairman Frazier and other tribes in the area if they would join us for a conference call so that we could hear their concerns and that they could also hear our concerns, that from the constituent calls we were getting and just general concerns, we felt it was best to communicate. On April 18th, I had shared with the chairman we were going to try to coordinate a call with him. And on April 21st, and I say this respectfully, being a former chairman myself, I respect Chairman Frazier, but respectfully, the chairman declined. The chairman flat out said he would not join the state of South Dakota for a conference call to discuss this tribal checkpoint issue. And so I felt that it was necessary to share that information with the state of South Dakota, as I am disheartened, not just as an enrolled member or as a former tribal chairman that understands communication is key when you're talking to other governments, but also as a South Dakota citizen. I'm disheartened with the attacks on Governor Noem, and I felt it was necessary that the time is right to share that information, considering the current things that are being said, just to share that the state of South Dakota did reach out to the chairman and asked for him to join us on a conference call so that we could work this out at the lowest level possible. I'll say thank you.